What's up, y'all? And it's your boy DJ Ben Amin, and I'm here to talk about Square Enix's Guardians of the Galaxy. That's right, I got a review copy of the game, and I've been playing it so I can let y'all know my thoughts on this joint. First up, Guardians of the Galaxy is a third-person action-adventure game. It's kind of in the mold of a Final Fantasy, especially any of the recent Final Fantasies. If you played them joints, then you know what to expect. You play as Star-Lord, but you can command the rest of the Guardians, and you've got your, the Guardians that we all know and love in one way, shape, or form on your team. You've got Drax the Destroyer, you've got Groot, you got Rocket Raccoon, and you got Gamora. But like I said, you play as Star-Lord, so the whole game takes place pretty much from his perspective as you go on this adventure. Now, this is not the MCU version of the Guardians. Let's get that straight right away. And remember, Square Enix was responsible for the Avengers joint that we all played. So after that, I really wasn't that hyped for this joint. I can't front for y'all. It was like, okay, let's see what they got. The videos, the trailers, everything looked good. And then I got the game. I was pleasantly surprised. I can't lie. This joint is pretty fire. You know what I mean? If you like Final Fantasy, if you like that type of style of action adventure, then you're going to love this joint. If you like the MCU, you're really going to get into this. If you like Marvel, all that, the comic books, if you're a fan of Guardians of the Galaxy, and Marvel, the cosmic space stuff in general, you'll really be feeling this game. There are, tons of not only Easter eggs, but references to both the comic books, to films, to 80s action adventure movies, everything, that you come to expect from the Guardians, from the James Gunn movies to the comic books, is thrown and mixed in there and remixed with a new style. And I, for one, I really enjoyed it. The costumes, the animation, the rendering of all the main characters is very well done, from the cutscenes to the action. I played it on a PS5. And it looked great throughout. I used high resolution mode because I like to see all the graphics and all the explosions and all that. So I wasn't playing at 60 frames per second or any of that stuff. But from my experience, game ran really smoothly. Like I said, it's the Final Fantasy style of action where you can pause or slow down time to choose each of the Guardians' actions. They'll call out to you when they've got a special move ready or when they're ready to attack. You can level up each of the Guardians so they have different special attacks. And then you get a lot of combo points as you combine these attacks as you lay the smackdown on pretty much everybody who comes through. I played the game on the average setting, and I think I might have to turn it up on my replay because I pretty much was walloping fools everywhere I looked. Now, as far as the story, that's where I really enjoyed this game. I have to say they did a fantastic job. Just like on Avengers, with Avengers Square Enix, I can't front. The story was my favorite part of the game, and then it just kind of felt lackluster after that. This, however, is a much more involved story, much longer. I'm still not at the finish of the game, but I've actually reached certain endings because this game does seem to have multiple endings depending on the choices that you make as Star-Lord. And I made some choices one time that took me to an ending pretty early in the game. And I actually feel like there are endings that might even be earlier than that in the game. So look out for those. Make sure, you pay attention to what you're doing in these dialogue choices because there's a lot of choices and they will lead you down different paths. Like I said, pay attention to the dialogue choices because they can lead you down some very interesting paths, and the game tells a very extremely heartfelt story. I almost had a few thud tears going on while I was playing it. There's some moments in this game that'll really pull at you. It's a very dope story about the Guardians, about them all coming together as a team, because this Guardians version isn't the Guardians that we've seen in MCU where they're now been a team for a while. They've gone through everything. This is a completely different story from the MCU. Don't expect everything that you're used to. But also there are some things in this game that we can look forward to seeing coming in the MCU. And that's all I can say about that without some real big spoilers from the plot. So, to keep it brief, I'll say that the Guardians game is pretty fire. Check it out. It drops tomorrow, October 26th from Square Enix on all the platforms. Pretty much you got your Nintendo Switch, your Xbox, your PS5, your PC. However you want it, you can get it. Also, as you're going through the game, make sure to explore and look for certain items that you can find along the way, because there's a lot of Easter eggs. And some of these Easter eggs actually add to the story if you can find them. Plus, there's tons of costumes and different variations for all of the Guardians. I haven't found, I don't even think half of them joints yet, but they're quite fire. A lot of references to old comic books from the Guardians' history. In fact, the game recommends that if you're a fan of the comic books, you check out such runs like the Annihilation run from Dan Slott and others, and any, Guardians joints, Brian Michael Bendis, everything else that you love from the Guardians comic books, a lot of those things are referenced in this. That's it for my take on Guardians of the Galaxy. Like I said, if you're a fan of the MCU, if you're a fan of Marvel comic books, and if you are a fan of the Guardians of the Galaxy, I definitely recommend you pick this one up. I will say, I think personally it should be rated at least teen, because there's a lot of adult themes in this. It's a little bit more adult than the Guardians films, but still kind of same on that level of the raunchy humor, and at the same time, some very sad journeys that these characters go on. Great game. If you're interested, pick it up. Make sure you follow us on youtube.com/forallnerdstv. Hit us up on twitch.tv/forallnerds, where I'll be live streaming Guardians of the Galaxy, and you can also check out everything else we have on there. Thank you. This is your boy DJ Ben Amin. Peace.